Welcome everyone to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latin Nurse Network. Ready to go over all the shows, documentaries released on streaming over the past week, give you our best recommendations or non-recommendations as the case may be. And of course, at the end of the show, letting you know what's dropping over the next couple weeks so you too can create your very own watch list. Right around the holiday season here, we are joined as always by Senor Chewy, aka Chewy. It's Jaime, aka Chewy. Whatever.
Thank you.
Tomatoes. He's
Potato,
struggling to
potato.
maintain his fantasy hopes alive while the rest of us have a little bit of bite
I'm,
work, pretty much. So
I'm, I'm still in it. I have a
you got
chance.
a dream, and the more the words of Jim Carrey, you're saying there's a chance. Oh, yeah, chip in a chair.
Jump in a chair, baby.
Poker players will understand that reference. Not a big week this week, Chewy. Not a whole lot. Next couple weeks are kind of light. It is the holiday
Very
season, so
light.
we wish you a preemptive Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, etc.,
It doesn't
etc.
pick up until like second half of January. Honestly, it's like everything's like
Well,
slowed
it
down.
slowed down, which it always does. But there is a few shows on the second week of January, which we'll get to at the end of the show,
Yeah,
letting us dropping.
but yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yes, a few things. But we are, we get closer to the end of the year. Although we will be doing a show toward the end, New Year's, I guess, or after New Year's. This is the time you reflect back the year that was. You can't help yourself but do that, and we're gonna do that, of course, giving you our top recommendations of the year. We should do that so you miss any. These are your top five must watch shows if you missed any of them. First time here joining us, appreciate it. Subscribe below, help us out, and let's get started. Chewy, but there is some bad. It's not all jingle bells all the way. It's a little sadness,
In
a
memoriam.
little in memoriam this week as we learn of the untimely passing of a show we've been fans of, and that is of course The Old Man. Couple years, around 2022. The last season came out, second season this year. Of course, Jeff Bridges, John Lithgow, on a very cool kind of spy thriller show, which had a really good first season. Started a little rocky at the beginning of second, but ended up 4 or 5 episodes really good at the end. But yeah, dude, I guess and it gets hard because these shows take 2 or 3 year hiatus, man. It's hard to get that momentum back. It really is. But yeah, unfortunately, this show went the way of the dodo. Unfortunately, I like this show, man. That sucks. I kind of wanted to see at least one more season to
Mm.
bring it home. So you're fans of the show, it is what it is. We've seen this 1,000 times. But on the flip side, people die every day. Unfortunately, things go away every day, but things give birth every day. We got lots of new stuff, and we got a few things that are gonna be extended. The life extended. We got Bad Monkey on Apple
Season
Plus.
two.
Season two, very cool, funny show. Vince Vaughn on Apple Plus,
Mm-hmm.
really fun show. Um, we got even I'm sure that didn't discuss on here, but maybe I'm late to the party. But Man on the Inside with Ted Danson has gotten some love.
Yeah, you are late to the party, dude. Come
Well, we
on,
didn't talk
man.
about it. You didn't mention it. We didn't talk about it. So that,
What do you
but
mean, man? Well, okay.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was not discussed on the show, but I jumped on after the fact. It's a funny show, very cool premise.
Mm-hmm.
Getting it season two, a show I recommend as well. It's getting a lot of praise in terms of awards recognition, quote unquote. And we got Silo, of course, which is going on very strong. Really liking this season after a slow first episode. Getting you not just for one, but for 2 seasons, season three and
And the final.
four.
So they're
Oh, and
gonna
the
wrap it
final
up
four.
in four
Okay,
seasons.
so
Yes,
two. Okay,
yes.
perfect. So we're gonna get to see a true ending of the show.
I mean, I'm
Got
kind of curious because obviously I've read the books,
ah
so I'm kind of curious how they're gonna tell the story and wrap it up in four. Because it's three books plus some little novellas and whatnot, but there is some time jumps or some very impactful flashbacks that I'm curious as far as how they're gonna tackle with these characters and how they develop the story ultimately.
no, I'm excited. And I think there's 2 more episodes left this season. No,
Is it 10 or
it's
I don't
eight. I
know how
think it's
many?
8. I think we've gone 6 so far. But
Okay.
very cool show. And if you like into sci-fi, this is really just must watch in Apple Television. It's very cool. Um, if the show had truly finished, I probably would have put a top five, but it's not over yet, so I got to be fair and say, okay, maybe the last 2 episodes are terrible.
No, I think it's
It's
no, I think
possible.
I think it is 10
Oh,
because
okay, then there you go.
this is supposed to go into January.
Oh, okay.
So two more would just put us into right before
After New Year's, I
that
guess.
we have this where are we? 20 next week's no,
Or
I
end of
think
New
that it is
Year's,
10.
if that's the case, on the
Yes, I think
first.
it is 10.
Okay,
At least 10
well then
episodes.
that's another reason why I could not put that in my top of the year because there's too many episodes left. It is what it is. But it's a great show, must watch. But this week, Chewy, not a lot here. Three things. One's actually we're circling back on because they released part two, and I suckered myself into watching. I was like, what the hell? Only because there's not a whole lot, wasn't a whole lot on. Yeah. So Secret Level. We talked about this last week. It dropped 8
Well,
episodes.
part two of Secret Level,
Yes,
right?
part
So
two of season one, whatever you want to call it. And I think this got renewed for season two. I forgot to mention that.
yes, it did. Yeah, also.
But should they have? I don't know. But yeah, so this one has goes to animated anthology based on video game lore. For the most part, the first season. I mean, they're very short, 6 minutes, 18 minutes, 13 minutes. It varies. Easy watch, but really cool animation. But they were so undercooked. All the episodes were just like felt like parts of a story. It just I don't know. Animation was great. This one here, the first episode, the first one that gave us a true beginning, middle, and end. And I was like, oh, okay, it wasn't a great story, but at least they gave us a full story. I'm like, okay, this is the things to come. But then it goes back to what it did in the first season. It gives parts of different things, and it just didn't quite add up for me. They had this Mega Man one, which is like 5 minutes long, which really just felt like the sometimes the
But
movie
like a like
like
a
a
like a
trailer,
prologue,
a prologue or
of
something.
of an episode or show, right?
Yeah, and it's
It gave
like
us,
that's it. It just
but okay, it's just shorts, right?
very
I mean,
short, but you can still tell us a full. The first episode told a full story within there, right? But just none of them really do that for the most part. And animation is really cool, but it just didn't work for me, man. It still doesn't, it still didn't work for me. I, I don't know if I watch season two. To be honest with you, Chewy.
I'll watch man because these are shorts. It's easy to watch.
That's
So,
the only
like I
saving
said,
grace.
there's a couple I really like. The Abyss one, which I really like, which it kind of
Oh,
did have
that's fair.
that had
That's
out
fair.
of all of them probably had the most complete story,
That's
right?
fair.
Because
Yeah.
it dealt with relativity
Mm.
as far as Travis Owens, his father and his daughter, and he's trying to
Yeah.
track her down. So that in a very concise way did give us a full
That
story,
was a
which I
cool story.
enjoy.
I'll give you that. They forget about that was a
Yeah,
cool story.
yeah.
But 1 out of 8 episodes is not, does not make it serious,
Oh.
right? But it is what it is. Again, if
Mm.
you into animation, for sure, you watch it for that. If you're into
Hmm.
gaming, you're a hardcore game. Not that these really follow the game per se, but you might find some interest in it. A lot of these games I didn't even know about or even play, but whatever. It is what it is. The next one, real quick, is the Texas cheerleader murder plot. This was one had my eye on Max. It's a docu-film, an hour and 20 minutes, so it's not too long. This one here, this wild story back in the 80s, 90s of a mom who was, I guess pushing her daughter to be, athlete, musician, at this point, cheerleader. And I guess she got herself into a plot to hire a hitman to take out a mom of her rival, or daughter's rival, so her daughter could have an easier path. This became a big news story back in the day. I don't remember it. Whatever. It takes place in Texas because Texas had the craziest people. Sorry, Chewy. Present company excluded.
Hey, I don't
But
know, dude. South Florida,
South Florida,
man. Hialeah, dude.
South
Come
Florida, we
on.
have a. Don't get me wrong. There's no
Come
doubt
on,
there.
dude.
It's a close race, but I'm just saying the
You guys
per
had
capita.
you guys
Just
had that cannibal incident guy in the middle of God knows
to be
where. I
fair,
mean,
that was in the middle of the zombie craze at the time, so life imitating art kind of deal. So I get it, but no, whatever. But yeah, it happened in Texas, and this is actually a wild story. You can, and then I guess the girl she's finally speaking up for the first time, telling the truth of what happened, right? And it was kind of surprising to have her say what she did because, I don't want to spoil it, but there's always a question about how involved was she. There's a question about her being framed or entrapped by her ex-husband, what have you, and her brother, his brother. Wild story, very interesting. I enjoyed it. It was kind of cool. You don't hear this kind of story. You can't write this shit. You really can't. So it's pretty cool, Chewy.
I didn't
If you saw
watch
it.
it. I
Okay, I
just
know. If you didn't watch, I'm sorry.
we had some new things that dropped that I wasn't aware, and we didn't mention them last week because I didn't even know they'd come out, and I think we'll mention it later today. Plus, there was a couple other shows that we missed that also dropped this week that I watched, which I'll mention in a second. So I had to sacrifice something, and this is what I sacrificed.
Fair enough. I don't know. I know about one of the shows, but I don't know about there was more than one.
Yeah.
But the last one here is an Amazon Prime. Not big, I said big release, but Beast Games. Of course, Mr. Beast, Jimmy, whatever his name is, and the internet sensation who's
I don't know. I know it's Mr. Beast. I've seen his videos
right on YouTube and
on
whatever.
X,
Yeah,
Facebook,
yeah.
TikTok,
He made
whatever.
his fame through
Uh,
social media. He's a gazillionaire apparently, and one of the youngest. I think 20. in the 26th week, he achieved that
He's
mark.
very young. He made
Yeah,
I mean, he made a shit ton of money and gives a lot of it away,
he
apparently.
does. Yeah, he does. And this is what the show is. This is actually one. It's
Sucker.
a reality competition show in the vein of a Squid Game kind of, right. There's 1,000 contestants.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Squid Game, but also
yeah,
and
like the
also
Squid Game reality
around
game,
his
you know.
videos, right?
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
they are very brutal in as far as the choice or how easily you are. It basically it's a coin flip. It literally is a coin flip on a lot of
Yeah,
these.
and this one, it's $1,000, $5 million, biggest prize on TV. But it's, I guess he's giving away a car, an island, one
Well, I mean, it's 5 million
during the
grand prize,
show,
but
right?
he's given away a fair amount even before that, and he
Thousands.
does that in his
Yeah,
videos, right?
sure.
He entices, he brings out suitcases or say, take a car and leave the game,
It's like
right? And
what's the
so
show?
some people
Yeah,
don't walk away
let's make a
empty-handed.
deal.
A lot of
Yeah,
them do,
yeah,
but
let's make a
yeah,
deal. It kind of reminds me of pick box number one, what's behind two, right? Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so push this guys to the ringer, I guess. Dropping 2 episodes and there's one weekly. Um, it was actually pretty good, dude. I was all in this show. I really was. I mean, because the choices here, as an example, like, 1,000 contestants at the beginning, he's already offering, he separates them into rows, right? And he's offering money. Anybody who wants to take it can take the money and get out, starting at 10,000 and going up incrementally to, I think, about 100,000.
However, here's
But
a
yeah, but
twist.
if you choose it, your whole row gets eliminated, right? So you got to make the decision.
That is
So everyone's kind of, oh, don't do it, don't take the money. And there's very thing like that continues to happen throughout the show, and it ends off in kind of a cliffhanger. Like, damn it, I would have taken that money so quick. Loyalty, schmoyalty, dude. I don't know all you taking this cash, but it's really these decisions that they're up against. You're like, man, I've taken that money really fast. But I was actually it's fun. It was actually I really enjoyed this a lot, to be honest with you. It was really cool. I like this kind of ideas. Like, okay, put them to a test. Do you take the cash? You don't take the cash. There's games of
Well, I
fun
mean,
and all
people
that.
are people, right? I
Of
mean,
course,
they're gonna do what they're gonna do, right? I mean, if
absolutely.
no one's dying, this is no one's dying here, so everybody relax,
No,
right? You know what you can,
exactly.
you know
Yeah,
what you can do, but it is brutal. Where take the money or you eliminate your whole team,
yeah.
or like
That's
the one game where it was like catching a ball. It's like, oh, how easy is that? But you lose the whole half,
the
like 200, like 60
whole
people
yeah,
were out. I'm
exactly.
like,
So everyone's
geez.
relying on each other so much.
So it's not like where
Yeah,
Squid Game, it was like you relied on your wit, and yeah,
yeah.
most of it was based on what
It was one on
someone could
one
have made
kind
a
of thing,
choice
right? For the
for
most part.
you,
Yeah,
but it wasn't like you're making a group to eliminate a bunch,
yeah.
right? Or even the ones where you have to find someone to sacrifice themselves to save your whole row. I mean,
Oh
so it
yeah,
goes
to
both
leave the
ways.
game. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and
Yes,
that's fascinating. It's really cool how they
yeah.
play that, and like loyalty, loyalty,
The
man.
only
It's
thing,
about the
the only
cash,
thing,
baby.
yeah, the only thing this is missing is a human element. I mean, where Squid Game, the
Sure.
act the reality show, not the
Oh, of
TV
course,
show,
right.
where you actually got to know the contestants, you got some backstory, you got to know who they were, what they made them tick, you know. Kind of like some of the like Survivor and stuff. You get to know the people, right?
Yeah.
You root for some and you root against others. Here is this one is so many, it's almost. I mean, maybe as you progress the episodes, as you
That's
get down to
I
a
was about to
hundred
say that. I
or
think yeah. I
something,
think when it
okay,
whittles down.
maybe you
Yeah.
don't see them as numbers, you see them as people and names and stuff. But when you have 1,000, I mean,
Oh
you
no,
just don't have the bandwidth. I
it's
mean,
a numbers
it's a
game.
30
Yeah,
minute
of
show. You're not gonna
course.
have interviews. You're not. This is not the real world and have a confessional couch and all this jazz. I mean, it's get in and get out, man.
Yeah, but
You
I gotta
survive.
think as because they were limited like way over half already in just 2 episodes. So I
Well, and
figured,
the first
yeah,
episode was half, and the second
half
episode another half, I believe,
exactly.
or
So
close
I
to it.
think we'll probably get into more of that. I assume as it gets deep in there,
Mhm.
I'm assuming that. But
Yeah.
that nonetheless, it was fun to watch. It really was. Like, okay, I'll give it a shot. It's fun, entertaining, like this kind of stuff. Why not? It's really cool. I know there's a lot of controversy now with, I guess, people suing the show and whatever. I don't know much about it to really comment on
Everybody
that.
loves to sue for something,
Right,
dude. You just,
the conditions, and listen, what you're getting into when you get into this kind of things. You really
I
do. It's
mean,
like, unless, listen, you're physically abused or something, which I don't think that's
okay, then
different
no,
situation.
no, we're not condoning
Yeah, which
abuse,
I don't
right?
know.
But
I don't know what happened, to
but
be honest with you. But yeah,
you've seen his videos.
of
You know
course,
you
know
know
what you're
what you're
getting
gonna
into.
get.
Yeah,
You know what there's no surprises, right?
yeah.
Maybe you didn't read the fine print, but come on.
Of
I
course
mean,
you
let's be
know. Yeah,
real, man.
and the game so far, have been that could change. I don't know, but so far they've been. There's no danger. I don't see anything that can put people in bad positions. I'm sure that could
No.
change as the show goes on, of course. But
Well, I
as of
mean,
now,
these
whatever.
challenges they're not physically
No, no.
exerting, they're not asking you to go mano a mano against someone
Yeah.
in the ring of death or something, a
Yeah.
cage match. I mean, it's some of these are really, really simple games, but it's just literally a lot of it's just out of your hands. It's literally
Yeah.
random chance.
It's really fun, but yeah,
Do you
you
trust
yeah.
your team, or is someone in your team going to sell you out?
Yeah, exactly. You trust nobody.
Yeah,
That's the lesson of
yeah.
these shows, man. You do what's best for you, and you move on. The odds you win 5 million or so against it. I mean, come on, guys, take the money and run. That's my theory. But whatever. But it's a fun show. Actually, I actually entertained. I found it very entertaining. Um, what's the? I know there's a couple other shows. Well, you mentioned more than
Yes.
one, but I know there was one
So
on HBO
there was
Max, right?
one of Max the Head.
The
So
head.
this came out of nowhere. This is,
Yeah.
I think when the first drop, they came out of nowhere. So this is the thriller mystery where there's one scientist, I think started in Antarctica, right? There's a mystery about a woman who died at a previous facility and ended up being one of the main scientists who accidentally killed her, and then everyone else just backed him, and so the daughter came back to take revenge. And that was actually season one was very fascinating, right? Because it was like had a thing vibe, right? You're in the middle of the dark in
Mm.
Antarctica in the 6 months. So it was really, and they're being picked off one by one, right? So I really interested. Season two, same, continuing the story. The guy escaped, they got him out, he's trying to, and because the whole premise was that he was trying to make a discovery of some sort of bacteria to save global warming, right? And so and there's this company behind it. Season two continued that, went on the ship, but then brought in his daughter and some other people, and still ended up, who same thing at the end, but this time he was guilty of the murder. So, so that's it. So season three dropped all of a sudden. It's like, oh, cool. So it continued, and it just picks up some months after the events of season two on the ship. Still brings in his daughter. He's pregnant. Brings in the daughter of the woman who was killed in season one now into the story, and so it kind of picks up from there and brings in the organization who's behind it. So very interesting, very good. I liked it. I didn't realize season three was coming already. And all of a sudden, I saw it on the feed. I was like, oh, okay, great. So if you get to watch it, it's a good watch.
And there's another one. Or no, that was you said there was another show.
Yeah, there was another one that
Okay.
came out on Peacock.
Oh,
I read it, wasn't interested, and then I watched it last night, and I was like, oh no, this is funny. You got to watch it. It's called Laid. It's on Peacock, 30-minute show. All episodes have dropped, and so the premise is this girl in her early 30s, obviously still trying to find the one, fairly promiscuous with her dating and her men, and all of a sudden all of her exes, people she slept with, they start dying, and in strange ways. For her, the first boyfriend died. They don't really explain it, but the next one, who's at the funeral, they get into a fight. He comes out, and all of a sudden, a cab runs him over, kills him. You're like, okay, two is a coincidence, and then at the end, then she finds out a third one just died under suspicious circumstances. It's like, okay, three is a pattern. So, but it's in a
okay.
comedy, and it's fairly funny. I've seen this actress. She's been in a lot of these Asian
Yeah, I know who she is. Yeah, yeah,
shows and
yeah,
comedies.
yeah.
I can't remember her name, but it's like I said, what's the premise? We say it's got to be funny, and it has that element. So, and then now you bring in this mystery murder, what's going on with her, and how she is connected to all these people, that men and women that are now dying. So,
Okay.
I say check it out.
All right. Well, listen, it's a light week, which we'll get into in a moment. But so I have
Mhm.
time. I was gonna watch this one, another one, just to what the hell, I'll throw
Just
them
to
in
fill
there.
in the yeah.
Yeah, because it's a very light week, and I guess we'll jump in that in a second. But before we get to next week, the highest recommendations are top fives, and I'm kind of curious what shows we share on
Okay.
this one. So I'm gonna start with one.
I'm
This
not gonna go in any order, so I'm just
yeah,
gonna
I'm
throw
just gonna
out.
name five shows. I mean, listen,
Okay.
the other honorable mentions that I didn't put on my list, and some of them now, like The Gentleman on Netflix, I thought was really cool with Guy Ritchie.
Okay.
Dark Matter on Apple Plus, I enjoyed.
Mm, mm,
Um,
mm.
I don't have The Boys or Only Murders only because they're always there. But I want to get other shows.
Oh,
I want
gee
to get
whiz,
other.
man. That's just
I just want to get other shows from Shine. But those shows are obviously great, must watch. I love them.
oh
Right,
yeah,
both
absolutely.
great
Yeah.
seasons. But I just want to talk about the shows. If you're not watching The Boys by now, let's really. Only Murders, you're probably not gonna go back and watch it. Let's just call it spade a spade. Great shows. X-Men '97 was really cool. I wanted to give that a shout out to that. And True Detective was another one I really liked as well. The third season and all. Some shows that kind of stood out. I'm sure there's others. There's a lot of shows I'm missing. Those are the ones that stood out.
Well,
You know.
one of your honorable mentions made my top five, so thanks.
Oh well, let's bring it up. Which one is that one?
X-Men
X
'97,
Men.
dude.
Listen,
Come
I
on,
was
dude.
super close. I was really was. And I thought, and
That that
Eric had it.
made
Yeah,
that
Eric had it
made
in
my
his.
top five cut. One, if a
I get it.
nostalgia up there, yang yang. I
I
mean,
get
all
it.
of us, well,
No,
most, well, I know us too. We are children of the '80s and Saturday morning cartoons and the advent of the video game and comics and the comic explosion. To be quite honest. And so this show, X Men, the original X Men came out. This was like something new, something that was like unlike any other of the cartoon shows at that time. Like I said, it wasn't the greatest looking, but that wasn't the point. It was about the story, right? Um, and when it ended kind of in a okay way. It didn't really get close out the stories and stuff, but it lasted a while. You can actually find all the episodes on Disney
no
Plus. But
plus.
then
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
revived it, and they brought in some of the original voice actors, and they brought this story, and they improved they kept the same style, but they improved it, right? And they brought in the writing and expanded the characters in the world and gave it deep dive into kind of like the first couple seasons of X-Men. This was great, man. I loved it. I mean, I can't wait to see what's coming down the pipeline. Because this is something that's not really touched on most shows. Even the X-Men movies are not like this. This
No,
is so much better
it really is.
than
Yeah,
than any of the movies that have come out. Even though some of them were good at the time, I don't think they've held up. As I go back and watch, I was like, nah,
I think they've held
yeah.
up. I think they've held up. The second like First Class and Days of Future
Oh
Past,
well,
they hold up
well,
greatly.
I'm not even considering First Class. I mean, that's its own.
Sure. Um, the
It's
first X
you
Men's
know,
good. The second one's
yeah,
great too. But I get, I get it. Listen, it's been
yeah,
20 some
you
years.
understand, but
Yeah, I understood.
yeah.
Understood. No doubt.
Well, we get so much more out of the animation than we do at any of the movies,
Sure,
to
sure.
be to
No,
be quite honest.
not
And
disagreeing there. Yeah.
so, for that reason, and highly acclaimed, praised, kind of revived the genre, especially in the animated form. And it was just exceeded expectation in
No,
spades.
listen. Like I said, I had it right there. Really, Eric had it on his list. We did our top
Yeah.
five on
And like I said, the
Nurse
only
Many.
bad thing was the whole controversy of Bob DeMeo.
Well,
I'm not well
with
with
the
DeMeo.
writer,
I'm not sure first thing,
whatever.
but
Yeah.
showrunner writer wrote season two. Also, let's give him credit. What Disney may not give him credit for whatever reason. He did write season two.
Yeah, that's
Um,
a whole whatever. But I don't doesn't
yeah,
take
like
away
I said,
from
that's only black eye on it.
yeah.
For
That has
whatever
nothing to do with the quality
whatever
of the
that
show.
story
Yeah,
is, who knows? But
yeah.
that's it. But aside from that, in spite of that, it still succeeded and with the masses, right?
No,
And that's what
absolutely,
counts.
absolutely. I'll go with one of mine that I think likely on your list. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. That Shogun on Hulu. I'm not sure it made your
None
list.
didn't make my
Did it make your
list.
list? Okay, fair enough. I thought it might. I thought it might.
I'm
Uh,
just kidding. Come on,
oh,
dude.
I don't know.
Yes,
Maybe
hell
I don't
yeah.
know. Well, your list, your list, right?
Hell yeah,
Fair
dude.
enough. I
Shogun
thought
was
it was,
amazing.
a fantastic show on FX Hulu. I think season two's coming. Maybe. Am I wrong in that?
We
Or they're
know it
talking
got
about it.
renewed.
It got renewed.
This
Okay,
was
okay, okay,
originally
okay.
just supposed to be a one and done. It's supposed to be a limited series,
Right,
right?
that was
And
the
and
plan.
even
Yeah,
it went through the award season as a limited series. After the award season, then they said, and we knew something was cooking because this was just too damn good for FX
yeah.
to say no, one and done. I mean, it cost so much, there's so much invested with the sets and the story and the arc this took that like yes, and there's more books now. Will they continue where this one goes, or they continue as the books would explores different eras within Japanese culture? We'll see. But
Yeah.
they are bringing a lot of the actors back that survived, so maybe they are continuing this story,
Which would
and
be
which would be
interesting.
great because
Yeah.
this was so good. This was, I think that I never saw the original '80s
I didn't either, but yeah.
miniseries. They read the book, but this just was
Yeah, it
so
was
well done.
well done. It was
Um,
cinematic, the way it's made. I mean, this may be the best show of the year. Maybe. I mean,
Potential. I mean, it's
it's in
up
that
there.
discussion, right? Top
It's in
two or
that
three
discussion.
shows. It's hard
Now,
not to mention Shogun.
the only drawback, well, I mentioned, like, obviously they when they were speaking Japanese, they brought in subtitles, but the whole thing with the Portuguese, I'm like, I know they want to have some English in there, but like, you do the Chinese with the Portuguese, you went to English. I'm like,
Well,
okay.
I do get the choice to make that, right? Because it is FX Hulu, it's in a bigger crowd, and no one likes to read. No
Well,
one wants to read subtitles. I mean,
whatever.
it
I
is
mean,
what it is. If you had both Portuguese and Japanese subtitles, it doesn't work. And I've known people who like, oh, I saw the first episodes in the theater. One guy that I usually see all the time, he actually walked out. He's like, "Hey, I can't do this reading." He left.
Was that Johnny? No, I'm
No,
just
it wasn't
kidding.
Johnny. He wasn't in there. He wasn't in there. But no, but I get it, right? And it's easy to do that like on Netflix or something, you know.
Well, okay,
But
but I mean,
so I get the decision. I really do. I don't blame him for that. It's like I understand
right
it.
there.
You need to have some ignition there. It is what it is.
Maybe it's
So
my pet peeve where you if you're
I
gonna
know.
commit, commit. Don't just say just because it's
Sure.
Japanese centric. Like you do them in Japanese, but everyone else is English. Even though there's an English captain and who probably speaks Spanish as well because obviously Spain was big at this
Right. Of
time.
course.
And if anything, make them speak Spanish. Then if you don't want to make them speak Portuguese, have them speak
I
Spanish.
would have been
Whatever,
okay
close
with that,
enough.
yeah. But it's I get it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I understand. But no,
Yeah.
listen, one of the top shows for sure.
Oh yeah, for absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean,
So we still,
great cast,
yeah,
great action, great
absolutely,
story, nice twist at the end. I mean, it gave you everything that you didn't expect, right? And then some. And so, a
absolutely.
lot of drama, a lot of edgy moments, fighting. I mean, great fighting, hand to hand combat. We say swords and sandals, but this is swords
This
and
is some
whatever,
samurais.
samurai swords
Whatever. I don't know what to call
and kimonos. I don't know,
it.
dude.
There you go. So that's one show. So what's we have two of yours. So I'll do a second one of mine since that was also on your list. And I love. I know it's not hasn't quite ended. There's only one episode left. I just love Shrinking on Apple Plus. I adore the show. I really do. It's funny. It's as close to Ted Lasso as you can get. It's not Ted Lasso, of course. But it's
There
just so
is
much
that Lasso
fun.
character. I'm just
There is, it
saying.
is, and Roy Kent's back. Listen, it's the characters are all likable. It takes these dark situations to spin it positively. I just love watching this show. I really do. I love Siegel in this. Harrison Ford is as good as he's ever been, as far as I'm concerned. Outside Han Solo, because he's still Han Solo. Let's not kid ourselves. Indiana Jones, respectfully. But that's just great. It's fun, incredibly entertaining, and I'm glad it was 2 episodes because I just 8 wouldn't be enough. Neither would 10. And maybe 12 isn't enough either. But I love the show, so that's on one of my lists. What's on your number three on a third on yours?
Well, hey there, dude. Fallout, dude. Amazon Prime.
I
This
also
gave
did
us
have that on my
the
list. Yes,
yeah. This
I
probably
had that.
gave us the probably the best outside movies because I know Sonic is number one as far as the greatest video game inspired movie ever or series ever.
I mean,
For whatever it's worth.
it's a low bar.
Um.
It's a low bar. So
Well,
fine.
okay. Well, we've had so many
And
failures. At least someone
no,
succeeded,
listen,
so
listen,
that's
listen.
good.
It's gonna get a fourth film. So listen. I
There
like
you
Sonic.
go.
I like
So
Sonic. It's
they,
not great, but I like him.
yeah,
But
yeah.
no, fair enough.
But
I
as
will put
far
Last of Us
as
ahead of this, but fair enough in terms of video game properties. For me, like I said, it's just my
yeah,
opinion. You know,
I don't know. I don't
but
know.
listen, it's two totally different kind of shows.
But yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah.
we're not. I'm not comparing. Just it's apples and oranges, right? The tone is
Yeah.
totally different, no doubt. As far as I never played Fallout, so I don't have the connection with the game. I play Last of Us, so
Maybe that's why
you
you
know,
have the. I don't have the
right?
connection to either
You
because I didn't play
exactly
either
agree.
one.
Yeah. So for me, it's
So I'm
like,
coming at it
yeah,
with like I didn't play either
sure,
game. Who'd
sure.
I prefer more? I think the Fallout world is a little bit larger because they've had
Oh no, of
several
course,
iterations of
yeah,
Fallout.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, this
yeah,
is an old game, much
yeah.
older than
Oh yeah,
than
absolutely,
than The Last of Us
sure,
by
by
far.
far, yeah.
And we've had Fallout 76 and all these different versions, different parts of the story lore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden now you bring this into the screen, and so it's I mean, have Walter Goggins. I mean,
Who
love him.
he steals
Uh,
every scene he's in.
oh man, yeah, dude,
He's
Ella
chewing that
Purnell.
scenery.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, this was such a wonderful show to watch and enjoy, and to see how the Easter eggs they put into the episodes. Because if you play the video game, you recognize the beats, the settings,
Mm-hmm.
the little details, right, that come out that they stuck to it, and to make it consistent, and to reach out to the fanboys of Fallout series, and actually revive the game essentially after the show. I mean, then all of a sudden everybody was jumping on downloading various versions of Fallout on your consoles and playing it again, right? So which was
Yeah,
good to
this
see.
may have been the biggest surprise of the year, I think, maybe, or at least one of them. Like,
Probably because we weren't
yeah,
sure what to
yeah, I wasn't
expect.
expecting this, whatever, video games, Fallout, whatever, it's. But no, dude, I love the show. It's very cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait for
No, and
season
and,
two.
and the
Yeah,
story
yeah,
how it told
yeah.
the story. If
Mm-hmm.
you hadn't played the video game, obviously you don't know
Well,
anything from
and
anything,
I heard, like I said, I
right?
think a friend told me that this it doesn't even takes ideas from the game, but the stories are
Well, no,
pretty much
no.
original, right?
That's
Which
what
is
I'm
cool.
saying.
Yeah,
It's in a
yeah,
Fallout world, but doesn't it follow
right,
any one of the
exactly.
games and
Yeah,
say, oh, with Last of Us, it kind of it is following the
it's fun
game,
in the game, correct?
cue for cue, scene for scene, relatively.
Sure.
But this one is like, no, you had a world and developed a story, and you had you take those elements and develop it into a cohesive story. But the way they told it, right? Even though if I never played the big game, I didn't know what the story was. They still gave us enough of interlacing flashback with certain characters that kind of fill in the blanks as far as how do we get here, where did they start it, how did they start it? Because it is a very strange world, right? It had a 50s feel, but with a modern
Yeah,
technology
yeah,
around it. And so like, okay, well, so it's introducing elements that don't seem to mesh that seem to mesh well within the story and explaining what happened and the corporation that built the vaults, right? And all this other history and all these different at the end we get to all these different vaults going on. And so like I said, very unique, very
yeah.
interesting, great watch. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is one that,
Can't wait for season two
yeah, this is a
and
must
hopefully
watch.
season
Yeah,
three.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
all these are must watch I was speaking about. But yeah, if you haven't seen this
Mhm.
one, Amazon Prime, yeah, for sure. It's a lot of fun. If you like sci-fi, for sure. So that's three each. So what's a four for you? Or a fourth for you?
Well, no, that was my pick. So you go your
Was well,
pick
I had
now.
that as well. So we
Well,
were
yeah, but doesn't matter. I have
okay. That's
97
fine.
also. So yeah.
What I have here? So one, two. We have three so far. I have Shogun, Shrinking,
Mhm.
Fallout. I talked about, right. Um, the Penguin. I had on my list on that one. This was another surprise. A show that got better week by week, right? And had a killer ending. And it's hard to do a show about a villain. You don't see that very often, Breaking Bad notwithstanding. But
Yeah, I was about to say, I know. Like, come
I
on,
mean,
dude.
yeah, but I'm saying you don't have. That's one. But I'm saying there's not a whole lot of shows that can pull this off. And every time you start to root for one or the other, right? They pull the rug out and say, no, 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 no. This is a show about a villain who's irredeemable, and they remind you that time and time again, all the way to the very end,
I'll say
right?
this: it's about a
Justice for
villain
Rick.
who Batman could give two shits about because he's like,
Just
whatever.
don't
Go
care.
ahead
It's
and
like
kill
this guy,
yourselves.
exactly. Do what
Do
you,
whatever you want.
y'all,
Blow up the city. Whatever.
yeah, just
Drug
I'm here.
overdoses. Who cares?
Yeah, the villains are dying. What should we give a shit? Like, whatever. Mr. Beast offered the Batman some money. He's like, I'm gonna sit this one out. He's getting paid. Win enterprises. They gotta eat. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's just so well done. Colin Farrell knocks it out of the park. Christina Milani? Am I saying that right?
Hmm. Yeah.
He slays it. As the daughter. Was it Maroni or Falcone?
Falcone,
Falcone.
or she changed his name at the
I
end to
forget. Yeah.
yeah,
But yes, it's a great, great, well-made show. Yeah,
Maroney and the Falcones. Yeah.
Falcone. Yeah. Yeah. It's, as far as like a crime thriller, this one is one of the best for me this year. What do you got, Chewy?
No, I'm gonna put well, so I have three so far, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so one you're gonna like, one you're not gonna like. One was an honorable mention, so I actually made my top five, and that was The Gentleman. That was
It's a cool show.
such
Cool show.
a good show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Guy
Uh,
Ritchie.
we
Yeah.
thought based on the movie, not really. I don't think it's even related to the movie. So quite honest with you,
No, I
or
mean
it
it's
just takes
just
elements of
yeah.
the
I think
movie.
it's just elements and the vibe.
Yeah.
But as a guy, look, Guy Ritchie has his tone, his vibe in all his films.
Oh
It
yes,
just
yes.
follows, And Guy Ritchie's never done TV before, as far as I can remember. But
All
yeah,
right.
no, this is a really cool show.
No,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I don't put that five for me personally, but I had an honorable mention, so I don't fault you for it.
Yeah, so it was
So
close, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
like I said, for me, it was on there just because it gives a different take, right? I mean, like I said, we like the characters, we love the action, we love the story of the guy trying to get out or trying to get into the business, right? Because obviously it was unbeknownst to him what his dad was doing. Like I said, it still takes elements from the movie. If you saw the movie, it was kind of the main character was trying to get out of the business, or he's selling it, right? But still, still using the aristocracy in the UK for his drug operations, and so built this empire. But here, we're kind of going the other way around, right? But very, very great. Also renewed for season two, so that's good. Maybe hopefully beyond.
yes,
But
yes,
it was it had that Guy Ritchie feel, like his, like some of his like original movies, right? Like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels type of action, which I love those movies,
yeah.
right? Or even
Snatch,
Snatch.
phenomenal,
Snatch, which
so
yeah,
good.
so good.
Oh, so good. No doubt, yeah. And
So
like I said, I'm glad there's a sensibility. He brought sensibilities to TV. I guess
mhm.
that really did really well. But yeah, really cool show. Absolutely, I get you. I get you. I guess I won't put top five, but that's still a really good show, and I mentioned it too. My last one before we get to your last one. this was a tough one. There's a few shows I could have put in there, but I wanted to give a little love to Arcane on this one. Although I didn't think it ended incredibly well. The last few episodes a little bit rushed. It was still good, and those first 6 episodes were for me fantastic enough to where it stuck the landing. They wobbled off the pommel horse or whatever you can call it, but still incredibly well made. The animation, I love the animation. I still love the story. They could have fleshed it out a little more in the end. My only kind of complaint. But being a final season, it's hard to stick the landing. We've seen a lot of shows just tank it. We know this. We talked about it. You can accomplish at least just sticking the landing right. I gotta give 11 credit because this is the last we'll see of Arcane, and I really enjoyed it. I thought this is a great show. It really is overall. What?
Uh, I don't know, dude. I don't think it made my top five because the
I
landing,
get it.
the
No,
landing.
I listen. I
I
get
mean,
it.
it
I
looked
get it.
great. It just
Yeah.
that landing was just. I
That
don't know. I don't know.
I
I don't want to say it was rushed
I thought it was
because
little. They could have fleshed out more of the stuff they introduced those last 3 episodes. I think if they should have had 12 episodes, I think things could have been
I
more
mean, it should have
explored.
had another season, but quite honestly,
Well,
because there was so much there
fair
that they
enough.
introduced, and
No argument there.
and they do these time jumps to get move the story along, but
It's like
like
rush, right? I mean,
it's
yeah,
I know it's an expensive show. I know it's incredibly expensive for
yeah.
whatever
Jesus,
reason.
that's crazy. Yeah,
I mean, we're talking Marvel level
yeah. Like
budget
two
of
250, I think.
expensive.
What I heard, 250 million,
Yeah, at least,
which is
right? It's approaching Lord of the Rings budget at
that's what I'm
that point,
saying.
just to
It's
get that
it's
movie.
it's crazy, but I mean,
Um,
whatever. I mean, I know the animation is expensive, but damn,
yeah,
maybe the voice
so
work. There's a lot of high talent, high end talent here. So.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, but
But
I mean, voice. I don't know how much you pay voice work versus actual on screen versus the time it takes to actually animate the different elements.
it's
I
a
mean,
lot.
it
Yeah.
all contributes to the
Oh, of
budget.
course,
It's
of
all.
course. Yeah.
It's not just all because
No, 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 of course not. But it adds to
I
when you have,
have the
you
future
know,
Josh Allen. Mrs. Josh Allen doing voiceover, and it's because it's expensive. Come on,
listen,
man, come on.
you're the MVP, man. You got this perks to go along, or potential MVP anyway. You think Travis Kelsey's anybody with that Taylor
I
Swift?
know
I
he's
don't
your
think
team. I
so.
know he's your team MVP. I tell you that.
Listen, he's leading me to the promised land, so whatever, do pay him whatever he wants to. Pay her whatever she wants. That's all I'm saying.
So it just left a very sour taste. I know they're
It's fair,
bringing in other
fair.
new spin-offs,
I'm
which
sure.
is going to
Yeah,
expand the world, but I just wish they would have done this. I mean, kind of like I feel like I did with Umbrella
oh,
Academy,
this
where
is
they did me
way better
wrong
than Umbrella
by
Academy
making
with
it
that.
only
Yeah,
6 episodes,
yeah,
and they kind of
yeah.
shortchanged the story, especially from the first 3 seasons where we had everything
Sure.
was developed and fleshed out,
That
and
was
this
yeah.
one
That was the biggest
six
disappointment
was
of the year.
like
Yeah, was Umbrella Academy for sure.
I wish I
Yeah,
would have made. I mean,
yeah.
I would have made the top five, but
Yeah.
it's just
Fair.
so rushed, and there was so much more there to give us. Whatever.
Can't disagree there. I
S-
get it. I mean, I do.
yeah.
What's your last and fifth one of the year?
I'm on there just because I love me some dragons, dude. And no matter how it ended, I just like you feel about Arcane, I feel the same way about Game
Fair.
of
That's
Thrones.
listen.
You
I didn't
know,
mention it, but I had it written down as one.
and I know that we
Yeah.
hear the excuses or non-excuse. Obviously, writer's strike happened at this time. Um, before
Sure.
first we had actor strike and then we had the writer's
That's right.
strike,
Yeah.
and so even that they weren't impacted by the actor strike, they were impacted by the writer's strike, and so originally this was supposed to be 10, it was cut to 8, the ending was supposed to be a big battle, and they had to cut that out. So okay, I can't hold that against because it happened to a lot. We saw like I said with the old man that was gone for 3 years because of actors
Sure.
and writer strike.
Yeah.
So I think that's led to its demise, even though it was really, really good, especially at the end of season two. But it is what it is. So we got shortchanged in season two, but and we didn't get the climax that we were hoping or expecting, but we still got a lot. I mean,
No, it's still
what
a great
we
show.
loved about
Yeah.
this show
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily, this is not a action every episode type show. This is a show that's written about characters that you care about, that are fully developed. We get great dialogue, we get great scenery between different characters that chew through it, and even though they're not fighting, but the dialogue gives us that rivalry and that controversy, and gives us what we want in a good drama or great drama, right? We had some great action scenes. You know, the battle of the dragons, man. I mean, come on, that
Oh,
was
that was
probably one of the
awesome.
best episodes of TV this year. That was so. That was like
Agreed.
what you wanted and then some,
Agreed,
right?
100%. No doubt.
And
No
we
doubt.
had stakes, people dying,
Yeah.
right? And we knew this was
Well,
going to
because Game of
come,
Thrones, we know
and
that's happening. That happens all the
people
time.
that were
Yeah.
dropping off, and that hopefully they stuck
Yeah.
to it. But I know, yeah, only bad thing is yes, it didn't end how how they wanted it really because they didn't want it to end in eight, right? But they had to bring it to an end for whatever reason. Thank you, HBO. But at least we know what's coming in the next season in 26. And I'm
Yeah.
excited for it.
No, no. Listen, I get it. I don't fault you for. I mean, yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm not. I mean, sometimes you put not you personally, but people put shows. I'm like, get out of here. It's nonsense. But nah, come on, man. But whatever. But no, I get it. Listen. I love Game of Thrones. It's a good show. It's a great show. So absolutely. So looking forward to that. Hopefully next year's. I think we got this show. We have some big seasons this year, right? The Bear, things like that. The
25
Boy, yeah,
or 26? You talking about
25, man. We got. Isn't the boys coming back? 25. Am I wrong in that?
I'm unsure. I'm pretty sure,
I
but I'm
think it
not
is. I
100%.
think it is. We got
And maybe 26. I know they finished wrapping recently, so I don't
right.
know.
So that usually means towards the tail end, summertime of next year,
Yeah.
hopefully.
But we know for sure we're getting Last of Us season 2.
Last
We
of Us
know that's
season
coming.
2. We got Severance season 2 coming up pretty soon.
Yeah,
I
this
can't
coming out
wait
in
for that.
January. Yes, very soon.
Stranger Things, I believe, should be dropping its final season as well.
Finally, yeah, the final
Yeah.
2 hour
So
episodes,
yeah.
run
So
time for each episode. So it's gonna be
it's
great.
gonna be great.
Movie like,
Yeah,
yeah.
movie like so. There's a lot of some big shows again this year. So I'm excited about that. So we'll talk about those as they drop. Again, Severance probably the first big one coming out soon. But before then, Chewy, there are a couple weeks left. Well, at least one more week left technically in the year, a week and a half, and then beginning of the new year. Slow start. We'll get into what's coming out next week and starting today. Actually, is What If?
Actually, already out. Dropping midnight, so it's already
Dropped the
out.
minute, so it's out today. Dropping
One
one episode
episode,
a
one
day.
episode a
Yeah.
day, by the way. So it's not you can't
Right,
binge the
right. So
whole
it's
thing.
30 minutes. So for the fans of the show, you got something to watch.
So tell your wife you're gonna have to wait till next week if you want to binge the
Oh
whole.
no, she doesn't watch What If. So
I know,
so I'll
I
watch
know,
that
dude.
one. And then of course we got the big one, right? It's one of the biggest shows Netflix has ever had. There's always a strong debate whether the watch list, led to its success as a worldwide
Okay.
phenomenon. I say it is because I was here championing this show. If anybody knew what Squid, people thought Squid were thinking, a delicacy. No, sir. It was a show on Netflix. It started right here, and now look what it's become. Right, you got a reality
You're
show.
thinking calamari, dude.
Yeah,
Delicacy.
fried, saute, whatever. No, sir, it's a show. It's a cool show. So dropping its highly anticipated season 2, which I'm sure is going to be a huge show for Netflix, and it's a smart choice to drop it right during the holiday season. Right after there, of course, I have the NFL on Christmas Day. Let's get a little bit of Squid Game after the fact, right? To kind of cleanse the palate, if you will. So that's it for next week. So it's like very, very short, holiday, get it. And then New Year comes around. We got a couple of shows dropping in New Year. First one is Missing You. Is your classic Netflix
Season
thriller.
2?
Of course, we got a detective who I guess.
Oh no, season 1.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I'm thinking Surface. Sorry.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah. So like I said, detective who I guess was engaged and her husband disappeared, or whoever her fiance disappeared, and I guess she finds him again on an app, dating app years later. She's involved in some case. I don't know. So it's interesting. And that same day, we got a Wallace and Gromit film. I love Wallace and Gromit.
Yes, sir.
Film.
Claymation, stop motion.
Yeah, it was a very
Love
underrated
it.
movie when that came out. So we get another one, that one. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a good watch on New Year's Day. It's like, relax, not working. It's a perfect movie to watch.
That's actually on the 3rd, by the way.
Oh, it's on the 3rd? Oh, that was on the 1st.
Yeah, the 3rd.
Oh,
Yeah, not New Year's, the 3rd.
my bad. So my apologies for the 3rd. Well, whatever. You're still in your home. You're
No,
still.
so great. This is like the 3rd movie they've made
Yeah.
for Netflix,
Yeah.
and they're just so wholesome,
They're just,
so
yeah,
great.
they're really good. Very underrated. So I feel like,
Animation style, like I said, stop motion, claymation, old school, right?
yeah.
A la the Nightmare Christmas style. Even to some of our greatest Christmas shows, right? Santa Claus coming to town, stop motion type animation style.
Tim Burton
So
style.
yes.
He was big on that back in the day. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to that. On the 2nd, we got The Rig season 2. I don't remember The Rig season 1, to be honest with you, on Prime. I don't think I watched it, to be honest. I was like, oh, The Rig, and I looked it up because you gave me a date in January 3rd, the second. I'm sorry,
Second.
and it says release January 6th. I'm like, wait, but then I didn't know it was 2023. I'm like, oh, this is season two. Oh.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, sure.
I whatever, sure. If you watch the rig, why not? Okay, that's coming out, and like I said, did you watch season one?
I did actually.
Okay,
Yeah, this is what I just happened to come across. So I had it
okay,
was obviously on the oil rig. There was
like a fog or something,
something
or
going
smog,
on,
or
something supernatural elements involved, right? Obviously a big storm, the algae
okay.
and stuff. So, but I enjoyed it season one. And I was like, okay, well, I'll watch season
Yeah,
two.
fair enough. We got Peacock is the late entry here, and that's Lockerbie. Search for the
Yes.
truth. This one's called Colin Firth, big name, of course, Kingsman. Um, it is a true story. It gets based off the crash of a Pan Am flight. I forget when it
Well,
was.
explosion, not the
Explosion, well,
crash.
explosion,
This is
right?
the
Over Scotland.
terrorists,
Yeah,
yeah,
over
with the
Scotland.
baggage, a bomb on the
Yeah,
plane, and
so
they
they
blew it up over Lockerbie,
exactly people looking for
yeah, England.
answers,
Yes.
that kind of deal. So that looks interesting. And
Mhm.
Peacock dropping, I think, 6 episodes. On the third, we got Bandidos, of course, the show season two. A show I kind of liked. It was surprisingly right. It might be kind of cheesy, but it's nice. This is your classic heist kind of Indiana Jones meets heist kind of deal, right? Archaeologist or whatever, and they're searching for that big treasure, and all the shenanigans to go along with it. Very cool. It knew what it was, so I kind of like
Hmm.
that show. Looking forward to that one. And then technically it's the final week, but we'll name it anyway. On the fifth, we got the second season of Mayfair Witches. Alexander Daddario on that one. I kind of got off that show, to be honest with you. It just didn't hit for me. I
Okay.
wanted to. I just could not get
Well,
into
it's
it.
all part of the same, Interview
Right.
Vampire, the Amy
This
Rice
is not
universe,
Interview
right?
with a Vampire, which I would have put as an honorable mention too. I forgot to mention.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
another
forgot
show
you
that
forgot about
yeah,
that too.
I forgot. So many shows. It's hard to. So many shows come out. Movies is easier than shows. It's just a lot. But that's another one. Oh yeah, that's a really cool show. But this is a far cry from Interview with the Vampire, as far as I'm concerned. Not that it was a bad show. I just could not get into it. But that comes out season two for those that are interested. Oh, another big show, Chewy, real quick, and is Gangs in London dropping its third season next year as well. A show
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
but I thought, okay, yeah, we're
No,
not
no, no,
big for
no.
the. No, there's plenty
There's
coming
plenty. There's
out
always good stuff. Those are the
that
big ones
that
like
we're looking
this.
forward
Yeah, the
to.
big ones
Yeah.
that pop up. Like, oh man, we've been itching for Gangs in London for a long time. On that one, we've been championing for that show. Such a good show on
Hmm.
AMC. But yeah, so there's the list for this light week followed by a better week, and again, I think things will pick up. I think they pick up when Severance comes out. That's when things. That's when the party
Yeah.
starts. That's when the year starts. When 2025 officially starts. But until then, it's kind of the appetizer to the meal, if you will. So we'll come back next week. We'll talk about the show that we made famous in Squid Games. We'll recap what's going on, and hopefully Chewy's in his finals, or he's just on the sideline. I don't know.
And we'll find out.
Maybe he gets old man. I don't know. We'll see. Or does he get bad monkey? We'll find out.
Bad monkey,
we'll,
bad monkey.
we'll report on that next week. That said, subscribe below. Appreciate it. Hit the like buttons. And of course, have a great holiday season. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.